Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video we'll be talking about a very active system storm pattern that will bring snow and quite a bit of rain to the south. The snow will be further to the north, obviously, across the Great Lakes in southeastern Canada. But the bigger threat, as I mentioned, is very heavy rain to the south. So it is looking at this point a bit on a dangerous side in terms of flooding, river flooding, so I will be going over that. Before we do, if you guys would like to support this channel, you can do so by subscribing, by liking the video. Obviously, I'll decide that once you watch the video. If not, hopefully I could provide a bit of useful information. Otherwise, let's get into it. Okay, so I want to begin by looking at the snowfall reports from yesterday's little system that occurred across the northern United States. And let's begin looking at them. So notice that across North Dakota, really the heaviest snow did fall. As I mentioned, there was a possibility for those 6+ inch amounts, and that did happen. You can see 6 inches right there on Berwick, North Dakota, 6.5 right there across downtown Devil's Lake, and right here 6.5 around Sharon, North Dakota. Lack of reports, mainly because well, there aren't as many reporters up here across the plains as there are across populated cities. However, you could still see a general visualization of some heavier snow here, a bit of lighter amounts in a 4.5. Pretty sharp cutoff. You can see Fargo only ended up with around 3 inches. Minneapolis didn't really end up with anything, just maybe a few flakes. And then look at that. Because of the lake enhancement, St. Ignace, Michigan got around 11 inches of snow. It's definitely not a bad event. The UP did pick up some snow. It was on the lower side, especially towards the western shores. But I think Marquette picked up, let's see where Marquette is. Probably around that 2 to 4 inch range. So not bad. I don't know what happened in Canada. Unfortunately, these reports halt right there. But if you guys inform me about that in the comments, that'd be nice. How much snow you got or are getting. I know that in Maine, there is a winter storm warning. Notice that if we were to take a look at the map of warnings and watches, that same system is now starting to push into Maine, right? So it did make a pretty long distance travel, and you can see that 6 to 10 inches are possible today at Clayton Lake, Maine. And this winter storm warning is bordering into southern Canada, so I'm assuming that there are a few locations here that are dealing with quite a bit of snow on the other side of the border, except the National Weather Service just forecast for the United States, not not Canada. But anywhere else, it looks as if it's pretty nice, dry, nothing big going on, and that's the case for now. Across the Northwest, we do have some winter storm warnings and quite a bit of advisories for some winds. Let's take a look at the watch area. You can see prolonged snowfall possible for, or likely for, western Montana and north central Idaho. And if we were to take a look at this and run this forward, sorry, not run this forward, just take a look at some of these cities. So you can see Missoula and Hamilton and Sula have avalanche warnings. That's likely to do with the light snow that has fallen and that snowpack that is loose. And we do have winter storm warnings here across, say, central Idaho, a bit further to the north than central Idaho. You can see 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 3 to 7, 3 to 7. A prolonged event, but definitely quite a bit of snow could fall throughout the extent of this. And the temperatures after that remaining not too bad. Above freezing during the day, but below freezing during the night. There are obviously winter storm warnings for the Cascades. I look at some of that snow that could fall. Quite ridiculous. And let me see if I can find a spot of heaviest snow to see how they portray it on here. Look at that. 3 to 5, 11 to 17, 10 to 14, 5 to 9, 2 to 4. Definitely a lot. And then you can see the temperatures stay not too bad, but just a massive amount of precip moving in. Here's their concern. The southern United States, the southeast, to be honest, and into the Ohio Valley. Okay, so notice that we do have some river flood advisories, right? Warnings. You guys have been having a lot of rain. It has been pretty bad across the Carolinas and into, say, Georgia and Virginia. However, it's also is pretty bad in terms of the water across Tennessee and Mississippi. Just not to the same extent. Notice, for example, right here we have a few counties getting affected by a flood warning. Now, in effect from, so that's already saying that, kind of for that event that's going to come, which I'll show you the rainfall amounts which they're predicting for some of these areas. Let's take a look at Arkansas. Look at this. Look at this map. That's truly something you wouldn't really want to see, and this is valid through March 3rd. So yes, it's not going to all fall on one day, but if you already have a lot of ground that is either frozen still from the polar vortex, or just saturated from the snow melt. Little Rock could end up with 4 inches more of rain, and definitely not good news. Rivers are probably already saturated. It's melting further upstream across Illinois, Missouri, flowing into the Mississippi. It's probably already swollen, as it typically is in the springtime. So definitely a concern, to say the least. Flash flood watches and flood warnings will be definitely issued here in the next coming days. That's almost like guaranteed. Okay, we do also have some strong winds across the west. That is also something to note of. It's more of a wind advisory still, though, with the fire threat they have. It's concerning. So I want to just get right into this. This is the North American total precipitation forecast for the next 78 hours by the National Weather Service. If you don't know what that is, the National Weather Service obviously forecasts the weather for the U.S. and is by far the most reliable source of weather, way better than private companies. It is a government-sponsored industry, and notice that, or company, I should say. It's not really a company; it's just a federal organization. And this is a National Weather Service forecast portrayed in a model-type setup. And notice that these amounts are rather incredible. Some of these amounts that forecasted. It's basically what I showed you on here, or on the map in southern Arkansas, this thing right here, but on a larger view of the whole United States. So obviously this will be falling as snow. A lot of water content. They definitely need that. It has been kind of dry. It would be preferable if it was further to the south. Notice Colorado picking up a bit into Utah, Wyoming, but look at that. Across the northeast, some decent amounts. Look right here. It gets heavier, heavier into northern Mississippi, Tennessee. 1 to 2 inches. And then once you get towards those dark orange colors into southern Arkansas, northeastern Texas, and northern Louisiana, 3 to 4 inches. And if a thunderstorm occurs and tracks over the same area, obviously there will be pockets, I would say, reaching up to 6.5 inches, to say the least. I mean, it's really I think that's going to be without a doubt. Okay, let's take a glance at this and now track this through the model regression. So this is the RGEM. This is a relatively good high-res model that goes out to 84 hours. This is a radar simulation. It's showing how much precip will fall in every hour interval, and it's measured in millimeters. Basically, what you have to say is, what you have to know is the blue, it's snow, the rain, it's green, and the intensities matter on the colors. So right now, really nothing, right? This system does flare up a bit of storms and showers across the Midwest, or sorry, the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast, and that is really happening right now as we are pushing into the evening hours of Wednesday, the 24th. Notice this system across Canada is dropping quite a bit of snow into Quebec and areas southwards, and it obviously does extend into portions of Maine and Atlantic Canada. These showers today aren't really going to be anything significant. Something to watch for, though. Cold front, pretty sharp temperature drop for many locations that were warm for the past 2 days. But look at this. This is where things start getting interesting. So we saw the warnings across the northwest with the very heavy snow, very heavy precipitation. Look at that. It continues. A lot of precip will be falling. But look what starts happening here, right? So we see a flow off the Gulf of Mexico, and we see these two contrasting air masses, pretty warm, relatively chilly, nothing really unusual for springtime in the northern hemisphere. And notice that this is 35 hours out. So this is starting at around late Friday. We start seeing showers and storms. Now, this looks all nice and uniform. It will probably be more scattered in nature, not as widespread, but where it is raining, it will probably be raining pretty heavily. And notice, these start developing into large clusters of heavy, heavy precipitation. And exactly where this axis sets up is still a bit uncertain. But the point is that, look at this. So this is now early, what I was saying earlier, sorry, I meant to say late Thursday morning or afternoon. I said, I think, late Friday. This is late Thursday going into Friday. And notice, right, this pushes it across the southeast. You'd be looking at this and being like, oh, that's not that bad. I mean, you could see it continues. It's now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We start seeing a combination of rain and snow to the north, lighter precip to the further across Indiana and Ohio, nothing as heavy as further to the south. The northeast does pick up essentially a thud of snow across eastern Pennsylvania. The mid-Atlantic does see a widespread rain event, and so does the northeast. But look, the rain is still continuing. Very showery and light, but I do expect that there will be some pockets of heavy to potentially torrential downpours in this right here. And I don't want you to underestimate this. But generally, around early Saturday, there'll probably be more of a break in terms of activity. But look at that. We start seeing these little clusters of rain and potentially severe weather. We'll have to monitor that. The severe weather could be running pretty high. I wouldn't say, sorry about that. That was my phone. I wouldn't say it's going to be off the charts, something to be extremely panicked about. But it's spring, storms occur, and this system could pull up a few. So this one pushes away. It's barely out of here, and look, just a day later, right? It's late Saturday, across very similar locations, maybe just a bit further to the north. Very, very heavy rain with, again, copious amounts of precipitation for this to work with as it's originating very far to the south. So just in the next 84 hours, total accumulated precip is already potentially approaching 3 inches in some locations. And that's not it. We're not done yet. That flash flood concern extends into March 3rd. This is through the 28th, right? The last day of February. In terms of snow, a bit of snow across the north. Obviously, tonight's system will drop quite a bit, but other areas, Chicago, southern Wisconsin, Michigan, maybe 2 to 3 inches. I would say this might be on the higher side of things. Northwest, obviously picking up a lot. Okay, let's transition to a higher range, longer range model. So, right, that's our little system shoves off today, and look at that. Here's our first storm that I showed you previously on Tropical Tidbits, right here. This is our first one. Notice, right, quite a bit of rain. It doesn't have as of a strong connection according to the version 16 with the upper or the northern piece of energy. Still, though, rain and snow for the northeast. Many locations seeing a very, very messy first half of the week. And then look at that, right? Here's our second one that the RGEM at around 84 hours stopped showing because that's as far as it goes. Look at that. Very heavy rain and tracks right into the northeast again. But look at that. This thing kind of shifts to the south, meanders further south into potentially, drying out across areas across Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and getting wet across Georgia, Alabama, southern Mississippi. And as soon as you think that's done, notice there's snow and quite a bit of rain for the northeast and Canada. We see yet another system, again, within March, around 3rd time frame, that could dump a lot of rain. Now, this one looks to be a bit more quicker and a bit more quick moving, but still, it's a stronger low pressure, so that could mean that the severe weather may be a higher of a risk. So it's a trade-off for a trade-off, I guess. Probably this would be a worse event for the severe weather. Notice it does indicate some pretty high colorations, indicating some pretty heavy rain, which is usually associated with thunderstorms or really powerful widespread rain events. And then notice, again, this could have more of a snow component for Canada, so something to watch for. We've had these two first ones don't look to be major snow producers, at least for our area of observation, right? But notice that this one could be a bit more, maybe even to the U.S. into portions of Michigan, potentially a bit of snow, so something to watch for. And then the cannons aim their axis across, or aim their targets across southwest, right? So notice that we start seeing large storms moving in, or especially a large one around the mid first week of March, kind of the 6th, 7th. Notice, right? Lots of rain, lots of snow. Definitely good news. They are in a drought. And look at that. A large system develops just further to the north, right? And the active pattern remains. Look, another system arrives onto California. Lots of rain, maybe a bit weaker than that first one. And look, a blizzard of some kind develops across Alberta into Manitoba, right? These two are, more of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and into the northern North Dakota area. So again, if you live across the northern plains, winter is over, or not over for you. The day before this blizzard, you may be in the 50s, but look right there, you could see a ton of snow, and of course that drags a cold front, which gives way to potentially another large storm system. So just a lot of activity. I could go talking about this for days on end. And you can see that we do see that rain making it into the southwest. So really good news, but really centering its heavy rain events across the Ohio Valley and into the Tennessee Valley, mid-south, the central south, and into the southern Ohio Valley. This area, you can see the heaviest amounts. But further on, I would say past the first days of March, it kind of starts shifting the pattern, and it's a bit more to the north and west of you with that heavy rain. Florida is going to be a bit dry, and there are some concerns of a growing drought risk there for sure. And in terms of southern Canada, you can see eastern portions wet, southwestern portions wet, the mid kind of portions a bit drier. And if that blizzard were to occur, obviously that'll dump a lot of precipitation. Okay, let's take a look at some other models. Just quickly run through this, right? So GFS, another pretty high reliable model, right? It shows a lot of rain with those storms across the south. Definitely good, good amounts, and bad news. What we see good news is right there across California. It introduces some rain and right there, you can see more storms. Again, probably a bit more to the north oriented. I do want to say, with all the fires we had last year, the grounds are bare. They're kind of ash covered, stricken, right? So a lot of rain may not be good, as it could cause landslides. There's not a lot of vegetative growth to keep the kind of the soil intact, away from washing away from the rain. And if it's mountainous, then definitely could be a concern where the rain falls. But that's still a bit away. We have this area to worry about first. Again, I'm telling you guys, this is not looking good, especially since these areas are not in a drought. They're wet. They're going to see a lot of more rain. European model, one of the best models, but I still think the GFS version 16, the first one I showed you on this website, is a better model, right? And people may be asking for dates and timing. Again, for these first events, I went over the dates on the RGEM, right? So Friday or late Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a lot of rain, and then added on rain, pretty much nonstop rain for you. I can't say that because there will be breaks, but in a larger scheme of things, it will feel like if it's nonstop. A lot of rain, and this could extend well into the Carolina area, right? North Carolina, South Carolina, where they have extremely wet areas. And then you can see that the European takes a bit of a break with these storm systems. It dumps a lot of rain here. It shows that pretty actually aggressive with this compared to other models. And then it starts showing more of a active pattern, again, swinging to the north and west. It doesn't go out far enough to show that, but we could see because no more rain is being added on here. We start seeing rain taking a track up there, or starting to accumulate there a bit more. Okay, 10-to-1 ratio of snowfall from the European model. Notice, really, right, the snow may be kind of subsiding a bit across the U.S. Definitely, though, the Northeast, inland Northeast, and southern Canada could pick up quite a bit. And, all it takes is one of these storms to be a bit more further to the north, especially those a bit further out. A big blizzard like the GFS version 16 was showing. And look, Northwest and Southwestern Canada look extremely, extremely wet and snowy, depending on your elevation. Okay, so that's basically all I wanted to go over. Again, stay safe, guys, especially across those areas in the south where the heavy rain will be falling. And I do want to finish off by quickly taking a look at the radar of the United States. Notice, right, we have that system right across southern Canada. It's beautifully showing. This thing had troubles organizing yesterday across the North Dakota area into Minnesota. It seemed at one point that it may not organize that well, but it ended up dropping that snow. You can see Ottawa did pick up some snow, but it was very close to transitioning over to rain if it didn't across the southern portions. And then notice we did see a pretty nice area of rain developing across the Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania area. So definitely that's something to watch for. That could get a bit more strong with some of these storms producing some wind gusts. And look at that, as this shoves into the Maine area and off into areas bordering the U.S. into Canada. Quite a bit of rain, and this system is getting stronger. Or I should say, quite a bit of snow up there. And notice it's just veering off, right? So definitely a good snowfall event for those locations. A bit of activity of showers and storms across the Central Plains, and this band of showers continues. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all guys on the next episode.